that is still going on now and that seems like it is quiet is a war that has lifted inflation all over the world. Why? Number one is that Ukraine and Russia produces about 19 to 20% of the total fertilizer that is used anywhere in the world. Right? So, what does that mean? It means that because the supply of fertilizer has been affected, it means that a lot of farmers will not have access to fertilizer, or the price of fertilizers will be high. So it means that food inflation will impact you. Do you understand that? So the farmer is not getting the input at the cost he used to get it. So the prices will increase. Again, Ukraine and Russia, between them, they produce a large unit of wheat that the world consumes. Wheat and those other products, large, produced in those two countries. When you are in the state of war, you are not able to produce everything you are producing. Therefore, it means that everything, and you know that a country like Nigeria imports, in fact, we import our wheat. I don't think we grow wheat here. So it means that the input into bread, input into all those staples are affected, and those prices will go up. It also means that when those countries even produce, that because the places where they used to take it through, there's now war and there's bombardment and the rest of them, they have to find a longer route to get to Africa. That increases cost. Am I still speaking to someone? So that is one of the challenges that we have that has affected and continues to affect our economy, global economy, and the impact on the local economy. The Iran-US-Israel war that is going on. Why does President Trump want to end that war quickly? He wants to end that war quickly because, again, a significant supply of petrol or fuel or oil that is used around Asia and Africa goes through a place called the Strait of Hormuz. And that place has been blockaded, which means fuel prices will go up, right? So that is why, in spite of the fact that we have Dangote refinery in Nigeria, that is why you see that the prices are still going up. Right? So don't join people who say that why is the price of fuel growing even though we have petrol in Nigeria. It doesn't make sense. But the truth is that the petrol that we have in Nigeria, the crude that you have anywhere, belongs to Nigeria, but until it is extracted and until value is added, you cannot use it. So companies must get the concession to do that. The price at which you are extracting in Nigeria is the same price you're extracting in Brazil. So if the price of crude goes up per barrel in Brazil or America, it must go up in Nigeria. Because you know what? It's even more expensive to extract in Nigeria because of all the costs that we have around here. So don't ever join anyone to make that argument that it should be cheaper in Nigeria. It cannot be cheaper in Nigeria. And those are the things that are adding or imputing into the costs and causing inflation. Food inflation, I've told you about fertilizer. If you bring it to Nigeria, beyond that, you have insecurity that is happening. We know that a lot of our food is produced around the Middle Belt, Benue, and all the rest of them, right? As long as those people cannot go to the farm, the prices will go up. So you have food inflation. Fuel prices are going up. So you have those challenges. So the economic challenges and shifts they are now living with us on a daily basis. So it means that you and I we now have higher costs. What we used to buy 2 years ago at 20 naira is now costing 30 or 40 naira, right? Now, the challenge on the other side is that our income is not rising in the same, yeah. And that is what happens. So it means that if you are working for someone, they cannot increase, even though the cost of goods is increasing. Rent, for example, is increasing. Even though that is increasing 100%, 150%, your salary has not increased by 100% because the people you are working for, the companies you are working for, are not growing by 100%. Even if they are growing on top line by 100%, they are not growing with bottom line at 100%. Do you understand that? Please, you have to understand what I'm saying, right? So they are growing because they are increasing prices, but the margin is not growing by the same percentage. So those are very, very critical issues. So economics is one big thing that has continued to have serious effects on all of us, global and then local. Global and local, so economic shifts. So what that means is that people are shifting down. It means that now when I used to buy this kind of brand that is imported or this or that, now I'm now learning that the local brand is not that bad. Do you understand? It's not that bad. So you can see already that is a problem, but it's also an opportunity. It's also an opportunity. So if you look at the HMO market, for example, there's some foreign companies that offer healthcare in Nigeria. Bupa and some of those ones, they are foreign, they charge a lot of money. But these days, some of the companies that used to subscribe to them cannot afford them anymore. So they are using the ones that are local, but that are still quality. Are you getting me? So that is one big shift that is happening. The economic shift is a very big shift you cannot ignore. The second one is generational shifts. Generational shifts. Nigeria's population, I think about 60% of our population is under 30. What that means is that the people, even if you notice in church, the average age in church, even in this our church, which is, we have, what's the name of the church here? Pathway, and this place. The average age in Pathway will be around 20-something, right? Am I correct? What do you think the average age will be in Solid Rock? Will be 30-something. Because every group reflects the population of Nigeria. Am I making sense to you? So the population is young. Now, again, that means that anything that you are selling to young people is likely to sell more, right? What do young people need? Very important. But there's also a flip side, that if those young people are not occupied, they become a threat. So, what the difference between Nigeria and Europe is that Europe is made up of older people. And what you need in that population is more around health care, retirement care, and the rest of them. But that is not the case in Nigeria. Am I still making sense to you? So you have generational shifts, very important. You have technology shifts. You have shifts in technology. Shift in technology means that there's several things that we used to do manually before that we are now doing using technology. Now, because cost is very important and everybody is trying to cut costs, It means that we have to use technology to reduce our cost. Anytime you use technology to reduce costs, the people, human beings that are employed, exactly. So if you look at it today, I'm sure we'll be hearing about artificial intelligence and the rest of them. There's so many things that are changing because of artificial intelligence. What does it mean? Artificial intelligence simply is computing that allows computers and software to do jobs that are repeated, which human beings used to do. So if you look, for example, in the outsourcing business, we have a lot of people in those days who were working in call centers. Human beings in call centers. But now you have artificial intelligence that allows you to have robots, that allows you to have agents who are not human, and they answer your call as if they are human beings. Right? It means that those people whose jobs was frontline officers or agents, that job has gone to machines. Is this still making sense to you? Yes. So there's a lot of jobs that technology is taking away. So that is also very important. There's also opportunities there, by the way, but you have to look at it in that context. So these are the changes that you have. In Nigeria, so if you look at it and you are in employment, it means that if you look at the way that employees work today, if you work in HR or you own a business, you have to understand that because this population is now very young and you're employing young people, the culture of the young people today is different from the people you employed 20 years ago. That generation 20 years ago is different from the generation you're employing today. The generation you're employing today, immediately they resume in your office, they're looking for another job. Right? Remember that some of you who are 50s or 40s, you have loyalty. You worked in a place for 10, 20 years, and you were very proud to say, I worked in NMPC for 20 years. You had a certificate, right? The people that you're employing now, they're not interested in working with you for a long time. Because the first thing they do is once they resume, they put it up on LinkedIn, I have resumed in this place. They put their picture and everything on Instagram because instantly they're looking for another place. So you're not going to have somebody that will stay with you. This person that is working for 10 years is not happening. That young person is. And it is not necessarily, they are not necessarily motivated by money. Right? The older generation was motivated by money, which is, if they give me X amount more in my salary, I will go to another job. This generation says that, yes, you are paying me too much. This job, I'm more concerned about my mental health. I want to leave the work. I'm leaving this work. So when you are speaking to the person and say, you are leaving, where are you going? Because it doesn't make sense to leave a job and not have where you're going. Say, I'm taking a break, a work break for 2 years. Does that make sense to you? So those are the kind of employees that you are now having in employment, right? Now, what does it also mean? It also means that these employees, they learn very fast, which means that if you're working with them, if you are in an office, you're a civil servant or wherever you are, these young people are going to come in and they will upstage you because they know more than you know. You know what is in the file. They know what is outside the file. So the implication of that for work is very, very critical and very important, right? The other challenge that you have in Nigeria, which is partly economic, is that about 60% of our population is living under extreme poverty. 60%. That means if we're 100, 60 of us are living under extreme poverty. You're smiling with your eyes. So, these are the challenges that you find. So we've spoken about the economics, we've spoken about technology. What else have we spoken about? Generational shift. What else? Economic shifts. What else? Technology. What else? And then there's cultural shifts. Cultural shifts. Very important. Very important. Right? Cultural shifts. I've told you the values that people are looking for now may be slightly different from what they were looking for before. Right? The values are different somewhat. So I've told you, and I've given you a very small example, and the example is true. The example is that while the person says, I just want to take a break for 2 years, it means that that person, by way of their values peace than earning ₦1 million a month. Right? And if you have that kind of son or daughter, you better don't force the person to work, because the person can actually cause an implosion. So, the cultural shifts, their career shifts, very important, career shifts, work shifts. From COVID. COVID happened in which year? 2020. Some people till today have not returned to the office. Some people are still doing 5 days hybrid work. That's not hybrid now. 5 days is not hybrid. Some people are doing virtual for 5 days. Some people are now doing 2 days physical, 3 days virtual. Some people are now doing 4 days physical, 1 day virtual. In some places, they will never come to work fully again because, when you push it, they will tell you they are resigning. So that has become a reality. But the advantage of that also means that I have a meeting in Victoria Island, I don't have to be there physically, right? So those are the shifts that we're seeing. And we've linked those shifts to Nigeria and what is also happening in Nigeria, because both of them are linked. Now, what does this mean for us? What does this mean for us? What does this mean for us? So again, just to taper off, so technology and the digital economy is becoming a threat and an opportunity. Do you understand? A threat and an opportunity. And I'd like to just give an example of the work culture. 30, 40 years ago, our parents said they want you to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or what else? Or an accountant, or an architect, yes. So, but these days that is different. There's some doctors who are earning more than those who are practicing medicine. There's some doctors who are doing comedy and and they're making more money from comedy than those who are practicing. But they're still using their knowledge of medicine, right? There's one doctor, it's called Aproko Doctor, that a brand was trying to get them to do a work for them. As I said, he's not going to charge anything less than 50 million naira. And what is he going to do? He's going to post about 5 videos over about 3 or 4 months, and he's going to post about 2 or 3 posts on Instagram, or 5, 6 within that month, and he'll collect 50 million naira. And say, no, now let's do 40. He says, no, I'm not doing 40. So, doctor is different from doctor now. So these are both opportunities, and these are the challenges that you have. So it's very important for you and I to understand these opportunities. No matter what it is, though, you know that in a country like Nigeria, food will always be critical, right? Because before you start wearing clothes and it's not just food. If you know the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, how many of us are familiar with that concept? Is that at the lowest part of the need, what do you have? Huh? Name them now. Don't call them pathological needs. No, it's not psychological needs. Food, security, shelter, clothing, right? So those are they continue to be very important. That is why Indomie and noodles will never, ever lose in Nigeria, because it's about food and convenience. So very, very critical to understand those needs. And that's why, again, house rents, nobody wants to live under the bridge. So always to take advantage of that. So the first work that I want you to do is just take your book and please write this in 2 minutes. I want you to write in your notebook, and we're going to be coming back to examine this later. What are the top 3 changes that have happened in your industry that is causing a big shift in your industry? What are the top 3 shifts that you have noticed in your industry that is causing a big shift in your industry? Please just write those top 3. We're going to come to them later, but just write them down. What are the top 3? Whether you are an entrepreneur or you are working in a career, what are the top 3 that has happened that very, very, yes, big shifts? Top 3. Please write them down. So if you look at, have you finished writing them down? Have you finished? The top 3 shifts. Okay, so we said, what do these shifts mean for me? That is the takeout after you've written this. So first, when you look at our life, when we live every day, is that we have a higher pressure to adapt. We have a higher pressure to adapt. Second is that there's a focus on personal well-being. There's a focus on personal well-being. Third is there's a need for career flexibility. There's a need for what? Career flexibility. Those days that you are invested in one thing and one thing, those days are gone. Now I'll give you what is happening in work these days is that in some employments, like in my company, we encourage you to have a side hustle. Should I take that again? We encourage you to have a side hustle. Why? Because 1, it keeps you longer in your work. 2, it keeps you motivated. As long as that side hustle is not in the same business that you are doing. Do you understand? So, I don't know what the civil service rules say. Does the civil service rule allow you to have a side hustle as long as it is not conflicting with your work? Huh? Yes. So, this is a time where it is important that you have something that is a side hustle. For life, there are more ethical choices to navigate. Those are for life. For business, customer trust matters. Innovation and speed are valued. Strategic collaboration is important, and resilience is critical. For careers, please note this: digital skills is non-negotiable. Constant adaptation to new tools, continuous learning is expected, and job security is totally different now. So, again, I want you to take time, just write. Huh? I should take them. No, don't worry. I'm not going to take them like that because they'll send you the slides later. But what I want is I want you to understand it more than writing it down. So in the last 1 year, what is the new learning that you have consciously learned? In the last 1 year, what is the new learning that you have learned by way of training or by way of something that you have gone to do outside your work? Please, can you write that down? If there's none, write none. In the last 1 year, what is the new learning that you have consciously subscribed for in the last 1 year? Please write that down. It's very, very important. That is the second thing that we're writing down. So please, can someone please help us to kind of note the things we're writing down for the work? What was the first thing we wrote? The 3 top changes in shifts where we work. The second thing we're writing now is what? In the last 1 year, what was the last training or learning that you have subscribed for? Please write that down. So this leads us to the importance of resilience. The importance of resilience. And I want you to understand that resilience is not pretending that times are not difficult. Resilience is not pretending that times are not difficult. Resilience is the ability to be useful, hopeful, disciplined, and adaptive even when things are difficult. That is resilience. Resilience is the ability to be useful, hopeful, disciplined, and adaptive when things are difficult. When you tell yourself that things are not changing, that is delusion. Do you know the meaning of delusion? Yes, that's delusion. Delusion is being cold this today, right? Yesterday, today, relatively cold. Delusion is saying it is not cold. It is not cold. I believe that it is not cold. That's delusion because it is cold. Resilience is adapting to the cold. Does that make sense? Think about it. Some Nigerians move from Nigeria and they move to countries where the average temperature is about below 2 degrees per day for 7 months in a year. And they still live there. Is that not resilience? That's resilience. That is resilience. So that mindset of resilience is very, very critical, very important. We have to shift our mindset because if there are opportunities but there's no mindset shift, you will not be able to take those opportunities. What is the old mindset? The old mindset is things are hard and I am stuck. That's the old mindset. Things are hard and I am stuck. So the new mindset, because we said that resilience is not denying that there's difficulty. The new mindset is what? Things are hard, so I must adapt. Does that make sense to you? If it doesn't make sense to you yet, then you have a problem that you have to solve. Right? Things are hard, so I must adapt. The old mindset is, I need perfect conditions. The new mindset is, I can start with what I have. The old mindset says, failure means I am not good enough. Failure means I am not good enough. Can somebody tell me what the new mindset should be then? Huh? Thank you very much. So, the new mindset, the old mindset, failure means I am not good enough. The new mindset is failure means I have learned how not to do it. Yes. Abi? It means I have learned how not to do it. Next time I won't do it this way because I failed that way. But it does not mean I will not do it again. It doesn't mean I will not do it again. Old mindset. My certificate is enough. What is the new mindset? Acquire more, which means learning must continue. Learning must continue. The old mindset, and this is very important in church, someone should help me. Someone must help me. Maybe this is a church. Someone must help me. That's the old mindset. What is the new mindset? Okay, you're talking like a proper, I should be able to be a helper to others. Somebody that must see that I really need that help. Close. So, it's around that. The new mindset is, I must create value that attracts help. Do you get it? The old mindset is, someone must help me. The new mindset is what? Thank you. I must create value that attracts help. What that means practically is that if you create enough value, help will look for you. Do you understand? They will talk about helpers of destiny. Yeah? So it is that you must create value that attracts help. The last one is, the old mindset is, I must do everything alone. That is the old mindset. I must do everything alone. And of course, the new mindset is, I must build useful relationships. I must build useful relationships. Please, are you still with me thus far? Have I lost anyone? So you understand the difference between the old mindset and the new mindset, right? Mindsets are the most difficult things to change, because the mindset is owned by you and nobody can force you to change the mindset, but situations can force you to change the mindset. All right. And when I think about this and I think about how to apply it, especially in public service, is that in public service, that our work, not just in public service, but also in other areas, is that we become providers of solutions. We must become solution providers. If you look at our educational system, one of the challenges that we have with our educational system is that our educational system taught us by rote. What does that mean? Remember the multiplication table. 1 times 1, 1, 1 times 2, 2, 1 times 2. You remember? That was the way we learned. We learned a lot by memorization. We learned a lot by getting accustomed, by looking at it over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. But the truth of today is that what is the application of 1 plus 1 is equals to 2? What is the practical application? That is what is needed today. I don't need you to tell me that the square root of 42 is this. I need you to show me how you can solve a practical and real problem. Sorry. Are you raising your hand or are you? Okay, not me. So, did you get what I've just said now? So, this is a time, if you're a career person, that your remuneration will be equal to the solutions you can provide. Not equal to the size. I have a master's, I have a PhD, I have this, I have that. No. There are people today who are working in the same place. And this person is on the hierarchy senior to this person. But this person is earning 2 times what this person is earning. This is senior, Abi, and this is junior. But the junior is adding 2 times, it's earning 2 times what this senior is earning. Why? Because of the value. There's some solutions that this man has that this man does not have. And those solutions are important to our business. So you find today that when you look at employment, people are not using those hierarchical, this is the remuneration, this is the this is the this. They are paying this man some money. They are classifying it any way they need to classify it. Any way they call it. And so, will this man be angry? Huh? Yes, but what does it mean? It means that if he is angry, I can afford for him to go. Do you understand? But it also means that if he is wise, he knows that this man may be younger and may not have as much book knowledge, but is adding more value to the business than I am adding. And if they let him go or they don't pay him twice, I will not be able to earn even the little that I'm earning. Does that make sense? That's one thing that it means. The second thing is that if they let this man, in fact, if I'm not careful, they will let me go because, because there's somebody that is my junior and they're paying him twice. That is happening. It's happening. They just call the person, the way sometimes today, they call the person specialist. Suddenly they just, create something in the office, say specialist pay grade. A specialist pay grade is 3 times what you are. So they're not saying you are not good, but they're saying you are not the specialist. So those are some of the realities that you and I must live and understand. So, old mindset and new mindset. Old mindset and new mindset. Old mindset and new mindset. Collaboration is important. And I dare say also that it's important to have that healthy mindset to change and to grow. One of the measures that I look at is that if I'm running a business and I'm running it alone, and if I am not there for 1 month, the business cannot run. I don't have a sustainable business yet. Am I making sense to someone? If I'm running the business where if I am not there for 1 month, the business cannot continue, I don't have a sustainable business yet. I have to look for a way to make it sustainable. So there's 4 hours of resilience. 4 hours. There are 4 hours of resilience. 4 hours of resilience. The first hour is reality. Is what? Is what? Reality. Let's say reality. Reality is the first hour. The first R is reality. Reality is seeing things the way they are. This is the way they are. Not the way I wish they were. This is the way they are, not the way I wish they were. Second is reframe. Say reframe. Reframe. First is reality. Second is reframe. Reframe is, I ask, what is this situation teaching me? And what opportunity is hidden in this situation? What is this situation teaching me? And what opportunity is hidden in this? The third R is response. Say response. Response. Response is choose deliberate action instead of emotional reaction. Choose deliberate action instead of emotional reaction. And the last R is renewal. Say renewal. 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 Protect your energy, your learning, your faith, your health, and your relationships. What is the first R? Reality. What's the second R? What is the third R? Response. What is the fourth R? Renewal. Thank you. Reality, reframe, response, and renewal. Reality, response, reframe, response, and so another activity here. I want you to write, please, my current reality. I want you to write my current reality. My current reality. So what is the one change currently affecting my career or business? You can take it from the first one that we wrote, those top three. That's the first question. What one change currently affecting my career or business? Number two, what is the one fear that I have about that change? What is the one fear that I have about that change? What is the one fear that I have about that change? First is what is the one change currently affecting my career or business? So the exercise you are doing is called current reality. It's my current reality. That's the exercise. But there are 4 questions that you need to answer under my current reality. The first question is, what is the one change currently affecting my career or business? What is the one change currently affecting my career or business? The second question is, what is the one fear I have about the change? The third is, what is the one opportunity hidden inside the change? What is the one opportunity hidden inside the change? And number 4, what is the one action I can take within 7 days from today? Did you get everything? Okay, I'll go over it again. 1, the exercise is my current reality. My current reality. The first question is, what is the one change affecting my career or business today? What is the one change affecting my career or business today? 2, what is the one fear I have about that change? What is my fear about that change? Number 3, what is the one opportunity hidden inside that change? What is the one opportunity hidden inside that change? Number 4, what is the one action I can take within 7 days from today? What is the one action I can take? So we looked about at that. So let's move to the next step, which is now, how do I solve these problems? What is the method? What are the innovative ways to solve the problems? Where is the innovation going to come from? The first thing I want you to understand is that innovation is not always about invention. Innovation is not always about invention. Innovation is finding a better, faster, cheaper, simpler, or more meaningful way to solve real problems. Innovation is not always about inventing something new. It can be about finding a simpler, shorter, faster, what else? More meaningful way to solve a problem. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about now. We've spoken about the mindset. We've spoken about the challenges. We've spoken about the mindset change. Now we're talking about how do we solve those problems. And that's what we're talking about, innovation. So innovation is the discipline to turn problems into value. Can someone give me an example of something that has been done, is being done for a very long time, but it's not being done in a new way, but it is being done in a simpler way. It's being done in a faster way. It's being done in a more convenient way, and therefore it is attracting customers because it is adding value. Can someone give me an example? I'll give you an example. If you don't give an example, can someone give me an example? Yes, sir. Thank you. So it is not invention. I've not invented a new thing, but I'm just doing the same thing faster. What else?
Now, in banking, I remember those days of my late father. They used to do this ledger. When you go to bank, you wait series of time. But these days, it's digital.
Okay.
Yes, on your phone you can transact business. On your phone you can pay. On your phone you can do everything.
Okay, thank you. In fact, if you talk about that, it's also, if you take it down, is that before, maybe 10 years ago, you want to take a loan of 50,000 naira, right? Process to take that loan. Abi? Aha. But today, on your banking app, it's sending you a message. You qualify for quick credit. Is anybody getting that kind of? You qualify for quick credit. Yes, you can borrow 500,000 to 3 million instantly within 24 hours. And that is, so that is innovation. Yeah. Can someone give us one more example before we move? I'll want a lady. Yes, a lady on the... Okay, yes, you please.
Yes, sir. Before, if you want to attend an interview,
yes,
you have to travel. Probably I'm going from here now to Island, Lekki, Aja.
Yes.
I have to go, probably leave early as 5 a.m.
Yes.
Get there by 9 a.m. if I'm lucky.
Mm-hmm.
At times it could be like 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
I will spend like 10, probably 1 hour there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come in through the traffic again down.
Mm-hmm.
So I've spent like almost 10 hours for the day. But now you can have a virtual interview online. 1 hour you're done, 30 minutes you're done. And that will save you stress, even your transport for everything. And you even know if you're going to get the job or not. Okay. Everything is done online.
Okay.
Thank you.
So who solved that problem? Technology solved that problem. Abi? Exactly. Innovation solved that problem. Yes, one more.
Another way to solve issues is through transfers. Like before now, we have a way of when you want to move cash above 10 million, 5 million, you have to be in the banking hall, present there. They will have to snap you, regiscope you, do this, confirm.
Okay.
But with your app, when you ask for limit increase,
yes,
you can move above 10 million, 5 million, and the receiver gets it instantly.
Thank you very much. Those are very, very useful innovations. By the way, you remember I said it if you were in workers' meeting last Sunday, and we're talking about bank accounts. Do you know that only 5% of the Nigerian population have more than 500,000 naira in their bank accounts. That's a challenge, isn't it? But it's also what? It's also an opportunity. So is it that, where is the rest of the money? Or there's no money? Huh? Where is it? Under the pillow. In soak away. So, but very good examples that we've given. So what is the process when we have gone through the exercise of resilience, we've gone through the exercise of breaking it down. So there are 5 questions that you have to ask if you're trying to solve this problem. There's a problem. I've seen the problem. I've identified the problem. I've seen all of that. 5 questions. The first question is, what exactly is the problem? What exactly is the problem? And you have to be very intentional and structured in thinking about the problem. Because sometimes what you think is the problem is not the problem. Right? So what you are trying to solve, you're trying not to solve the symptoms of the problem. You are trying to solve the root cause of the problem. Should I say that again? So when you have a problem, you must diagnose the problem properly. Right? You must diagnose the problem properly. Why is my husband always angry towards the end of the month? That is a problem statement. Abi? Okay? So, in solving that problem, I must ask, what is the root cause? Because I can say that, okay, if I don't understand the root cause, I'll say, okay, the way to solve this problem is, when it is getting to the end of the month, I'll be playing lively music. Abi? Am I speaking to someone now? So I'll be playing lively music, I'll be smiling, I will be making jokes, I will be doing all of that around him. You know that is, I'm trying to solve the problem. But I have not properly diagnosed the root cause. What is the root cause? The root cause is that, what could be the root cause, sir? Finance. The bills are coming. Yes, the bills are coming. So I must go and solve the problem of how he can pay the bills, not to make him happy. If I solve the problem of how to pay the bills, he will be happy. Abi? So that is the difference between symptoms and root cause. So when you are looking at a problem in your area, whether you are in the career or in the business, you must identify the problem, the root cause of the problem. Because if you solve the symptom without solving the root cause, you are not going to make money because you have not added any value. You have just provided a cosmetic solution. Right? So you must understand that what is the problem, and then to solve the root cause. That's number one. Number 2, who is affected by this problem? Who is affected by this problem? Let's look at 1. Employees and staff are always coming late. So we moved our office, let's say, you carve your problem, you move your office from Ikeja to Victoria Island. Employees are always coming late. Right? So you can cast that problem and say the problem is our disciplinary system is not good enough. We have to start giving them queries. So you're going to be giving them queries. They will try to get there early. In trying to get there early, they will sleep less. In sleeping less, they will not work efficiently when they get there because half the time they're going to be sleeping. But if you think about it, You can say, okay, let's solve the root problem. Let's get a boss that will be here at this time and will take everybody from this place to this place. You have solved the root problem. And the second thing we said is that you must identify who. Abi? We said who is affected by this problem. Is it the customers? Is it the staff? Is it the family? Is it the community? Is it the employer? Is it the suppliers? Who is affected by this problem? Who is affected by these problems? You have to identify that. You have to identify that. If you look at the infrastructure problem in Nigeria, specifically energy, which is power, you realize that, a lot of times when people are complaining that band A is too expensive, do you know that that is really not what they're saying? How do I know? I know because the same person is spending more money on diesel and petrol and all of those combined and maintenance and all of that, right, than band A. So if I'm solving the problem, and I'm saying who am I solving the problem for? Who am I solving that problem for? If I'm looking at a business, for example, I'm solving the problem for the owners of the business, not for the employees in the business. Because for the employees, if you don't have power half the time, it means that we go and play games now. We don't do work. Abi? So I identify that I'm solving the problem for the owners of the business who have the responsibility for profit and loss. So if there are some people who are offering electricity higher than band A, but lower than diesel and other costs. And the people who are paying are okay, they're very happy. Because what is the root cause? The root cause is that a lack of electricity or the cost of electricity is not allowing us to deliver our business efficiently. Can you imagine as a hotel that has 100 rooms and has capacity 100 room and has 20 people. 20 people for 2 weeks. You have to supply power. If you have 5 people, you have to supply power. So for that kind of person, he understands that he must look at the cost of power relative to the customers, but also relative to other costs of providing that power. So sometimes increasing price can make sense. But of course, if you are looking at who is affected and you say, the whole of Nigerians are affected, it's not the whole of Nigerians. Because some people will not understand this mathematics. Do you understand me? Because for some other people, which is why if you're providing those kind of services, you say, am I going for business customers or am I going for consumers, which are individuals? That's number one. Even if I'm going for consumers, what kind of consumers am I going for? Because there's some consumers that even band C, they're complaining. Do you understand? Aha. So, and as a business, you are not government. It's not your job to provide electricity for the whole of Nigeria. So you choose the people who can pay for the service and for who your price is still lower than the alternative. And you service those ones profitably. Does that make sense? Yes. So who is affected by the problem? Number 3, what have we assumed that may no longer be true? Yes, because what have we assumed that may no longer be true? Many people fail because they are solving today's problems with yesterday's assumptions. Many people fail because they're solving today's problems with what? Yesterday's assumptions. Number 4, what low-cost experiment can we try? And this is, I want us to just pause on this. So, which is important for you as a business or even as an employee, is that whatever solution that you're providing, you must always have a space for experimentation. Right? So if I assume that I'm going to do this for the whole of Lagos, and I'm looking for money to solve the problem for the whole of Lagos from day one, I'm not going to be able to get that money. But if I start with experimentation, and I start from Ojodu Estate, and I experiment in Ojodu Estate, and it works in Ojodu Estate, I can fund what is required in Ojodu Estate. After that experiment is successful, I can take that template to the bank to show them how this has succeeded, and then I can get money to do for other places. Sorry, am I disconnecting from you? So, very, very critical, very important. And then the last one, what can technology, partnership, and customer insight help us to do better? What can technology, partnership, and customer insight help us to do better? So I've just rushed through some examples, especially for small businesses. Yes. An example, customers are buying less. That's a problem. It's a business challenge. What is the innovative response? Customers are buying less. What is an innovative response? Okay, you can do promo. Customers are buying less, you can do promo. Huh? Yes, you can do buy 3, get 1 free. But the problem with buy 3, get 1 free is that they now have 4. So they will not buy from you for the next 6 months because they now have 4. And also, if they buy all of those things and they keep it there, it means that, of course, when you're doing a promo, your margin is, Abi? Yes. So promotion is good, but it's not a sustainable. Yes. Anyone that continues to do buy this, get 1 free, buy this, get 1 free, one day he will give his product for free. One day. If the only reason why people buy your product is because there's a promo, when there's no promo, they won't buy it because they don't see the benefit. So, but there are other responses. One is you can create smaller packs. I'm sorry, you're seeing smaller packs on everything. I don't see anything that doesn't have smaller pack anymore in Nigeria. Abi? Soap has smaller pack. Biscuit has smaller pack. Toothpaste has smaller pack. Everything has smaller pack. Do you realize that the margin on those smaller packs is higher in some cases? Abi? Yes. So, again, you can bundle. You can bundle. You can say, if you buy this one plus this one plus this one, you get this. So, which means I get to sell more, and so on and so forth. Yeah, the next problem is, some people say, oh, marketing is expensive. The innovation there is use referrals and the rest of them. So, what are the examples in career? No promotion. I'm not getting promotion. The innovation is build visible value beyond your job description and you'll get promotion. Abi? You'll become a specialist. Build visible value beyond your job description. Yes. I don't have enough experience. What is the solution? Volunteer free to gain experience. So, and so on and so forth. So, that is, and then let's look at the next one, which is collaboration. Collaboration. Very important for 2026. We're in 2026. If you are one of those people that believe that you can run the race alone, you are going to be in trouble. Because what people are looking for now needs collaboration among so many people. You need, as a health provider, you need to collaborate with a gym. You need to collaborate with the pharmaceutical. You need to collaborate with a bank. You need to collaborate with this, and so on and so forth. Right? As a producer of food, you need to collaborate with farmers. You need to collaborate with, and so on and so forth. So collaboration is very, very important. So the future depends on collaboration. And in collaboration, you're looking at your strengths, you're looking at where you are strong, and you're looking at where you are weak. And you look for those who are strong in those areas where you are weak. Right? Are we making sense? Yes. You can collaborate based on skills. You can collaborate based on the market collaboration. You can collaborate based on knowledge. You can collaborate based on finance, on technology, on brand, or community. So there's so many areas where you can collaborate. Collaboration means you work with someone who has something that you want. Right? I'm rushing now so that we can land and get to the... Yes. So collaboration is important. The mindset for collaboration is that we have to move from ego to value. Huh? Say there's no foreman. No one person can do 4 people's job. Abi? So one person you can't do all that work. So you need to collaborate. So you have to move from ego to value. You have to move from competition to complementarity. You have to move from transaction to trust. You have to move from short-term game to long-term relationship. And so to land, I then want to quickly look at, what are the practical steps. Now, we've listed some of these steps in the work that we said that we need to do as individuals. But so every one of us must be learning every day. And we must be learning in 4 areas. And that was why we asked that question earlier. You must be learning in technical skills. You must be learning in digital skills. You must be learning in communication skills. And you must be learning in relationship skills. 1, technical skills. 2, digital skills. 3, communication skills. 4, relationship skills. You must be learning in those areas. Second is you must build your evidence of value. You shouldn't be the only one who thinks that you know how to do it now. Abi? You must be building your evidence of what? Of value. Yes. You do not only say that you are quality, you prove that you are quality. You do not only show that you are good, you prove that you are good. So if you are going to look for a job, in some cases, you go with your portfolio. All right? You go with your portfolio. Say, okay, job, these are the things I've done. And when you are going, don't steal what somebody else has done. Huh? Where you have walked through collaboration, make it clear. I worked with 5 people here. I worked with these people here. This is not my original idea. All of those things as a Christian, yeah. You must have case studies, testimonials, and the rest of them. Yes, as a young person, these are days where you have to be visible, right? So visibility is not bad. And I know as church people, some of us don't want to be visible, right? Visibility is not bad, but you must be visible for the right things. Am I making sense? You must be visible for the right things. So visibility is important, but you must be visible for the right things. If you have a solution, you must be visible. Yes. So our objective from the beginning was to cover those 4 areas. Have we covered the 4 areas? I think we've rushed towards the end, but I believe that with the interaction, we should be able to then close out instead of just having me speak through. There's several opportunities in Nigeria, still several opportunities in Nigeria. There are opportunities in different areas. I'll just, very quickly talk on 3, 4 briefly at the top, and then we'll then take the interaction. First is this opportunity in agribusiness, food processing, and food security. Food security is we must eat, Nabi. Agribusiness, food processing, and food security. Please always understand that when we say there's opportunity in agribusiness, I'm not saying you should go and start a farm. Right? I'm not saying you should go and start a farm. You need to understand where the opportunity is. Some of the areas where you have opportunity includes farm to market logistics, moving products from farm to market. You have food storage and cold chain solutions, especially for things like fish, vegetables, and the rest of them. You have commodity aggregation opportunities. You have local food processing. You have packaging and preservation, input financing for farmers, waste to value processing, and the rest of them. One of the things that makes me sad anytime I'm driving through Ojota is that Olushosun, that waste dump. It makes me sad anytime I'm passing through that place, because that waste is money. Yeah? Yes, that waste is money. So you must understand the value, have the technical knowledge, have the relationship knowledge to turn that. The second area is digital economy in fintech and embedded financial services. Digital economy, very important. Payments, SME credit, micro lending, not the one that you take gun to go and collect your money from people, or you send their names to their church WhatsApp group and say this person is dead. That's not the type I'm talking about. Yeah, cooperatives, and so on and so forth. In informal retail opportunities, in energy and power alternatives, there are huge opportunities in those areas, especially now that the government has said you can generate and then feed into the grid, Abi, which means you can have your solar farm and feed there. Leasing and the rest of them. In healthcare, diagnostics, and health tech, there are huge opportunities in that area. Affordable diagnostics, telemedicine, home care, and elderly care. I'm you'll be surprised the number of elderly care services that you have around us, even around this area as we speak. In education, skills development, and workforce readiness, huge opportunities. AI skills training, digital literacy, technical vocational education, career coaching platforms, apprenticeship marketplaces, and so on and so forth. The creative economy, media and entertainment, and cultural export, huge opportunities. Because again, your customer is not just resident in Nigeria, your customer is everywhere in the world, and you now have those distribution platforms that allows you to access markets everywhere, right? Logistics, mobility, supply chain, affordable housing, construction input, waste management, recycling, security. So this bandit's an opportunity. Do you know? Yes, there's security, trust, identity and verification, business support, just too many opportunities. So, again, our objective was to just look at how do we build a resilient mindset for the changing times. First is to agree that the times are changing. That's the first. Second is to build a resilient mindset for changing times. Third is to discover innovative ways to solve real problems. Fourth is to leverage collaboration for greater impact and opportunities. And the last one is practical steps for growth. Can we please take a few things that you may not clearly understand, or some things that are not very clear to you in the remaining number of minutes that we have. But I would have said that we go through some of the what you wrote. So I want to ask, for example, what did you identify as the biggest fear that you have in the area where the biggest change and the biggest fear? Who wants to volunteer? The biggest change that you see around the area where you function and the biggest fear that you have. Biggest change and biggest fear. Thank you. The lady at the back, yes. Biggest change and biggest fear. Yeah. Identify what exactly the area is, and then those two.
Okay, yeah, I'm in teaching, though I just came in. The biggest change for me is AI. And the fear is being replaced, by AI.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Now, it's very interesting the way that biggest fear is the biggest opportunity. Right? So, we're building something where we're teaching. Have you seen that lately the acquisition of local language by young people is becoming really, really critical as a cultural tool for the old generation? We want our children to learn the local language, especially Yoruba. I think the Igbos don't have that problem that much. It's the Yoruba people who have that problem a lot. I don't think the Hausa people also have that problem a lot, yes. So, but what you have now, if I just paint it for you, is that with artificial intelligence, I can build an avatar that is not a human being, that is teaching this different, whatever you want to teach, and that is earning money through subscription or through, projects or whatever it is, and is not a human being. So all I'm doing is I'm using the same artificial intelligence, which is a risk, to build a face that is not a human face. It's a human face, but it's not an individual. They can't say this man is this name. So which also means I can build 10 of such. I can build one to take care of Nigerians in diaspora. A face that looks like them, talks like them, does all of that. I can build one that faces another market. So it means that in the case where in the past, I, as one teacher, I cannot do all of this at the same time, I can now do those things at the same time. And I'm not saying this from the point of view of I can. I'm saying they're doing it already. Yes, they're doing it already. A teacher that is not a human being is just the people at the back using artificial intelligence to create the content, create the graphics, create the character, and broadcasting. And because the broadcast channel has also been democratized now, I don't have to go to NTA to reach Maiduguri. I don't have to go to channels to reach London. I can do it on YouTube. So that is how that same fear, if you change your mindset, becomes the same opportunity you can ride on. Yes, okay, okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have a salon. Then I can see that women are no longer coming to salon to make hair. So they now buy wigs. Except to see few men that are coming and I don't make men's hair.
Good.
So I have to venture into selling wigs.
So what's your fear? The fear is that...
Yes, wigs now. So they are not physically coming to salon to make hair.
I'm looking at the ears. Okay? So what is from a mindset change, what is the solution? Can somebody tell us from the mindset change of what we have learned today, just the structural thinking, what is the solution to this? Women are not coming to salons anymore.
Okay, let me try.
You're a man, or?
Yes, let me try.
Okay.
If women are not coming to your salon, I think, in my own understanding,
yes,
what you should do is, I think they have this dummy that is like human being.
Yes.
You can buy this wig and also construct the wig yourself
Okay.
and
okay.
also sell it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
There is one woman I followed online.
Yes.
So she said same thing.
Okay.
Chioma, fine, easy.
Okay.
She said the guy makes her hair. So she said, the guy said there has not been job lately. She was
Yes.
not like, what happened that you are so good? Why don't you have? She said, women are now buying wigs.
Yes.
So now said, okay, so why don't you start go and learn how to make wigs
Okay.
and learn how to revamp? Because after a while, the wig will get maybe somehow.
Okay.
You need to revamp it to make it new again.
Thank you.
That was what the guys did and started making it this morning. So I think
Good.
as an hairdresser, you can do that too.
Excellent. That's good. So those are some of the solutions. By the way, the other one, madam, is that people are taking the saloons to women's homes. Abi? Yes, now. People are now going, somebody comes, home service, say, yes, your wife, you paid for me to come. They're going to pay a premium. And then, so again, they're not coming anymore. You can move to them. But those are the other examples. Another fear before we move to the next walk. Okay, let's stay with this man with...
I'm in the HR field.
HR, yes.
Yeah, so I can see now that the focus has now changed from the local CIPM and all these things to international exams.
Accreditation, yes.
So my fear is, if I do all this, if I do all the international exams,
Yes.
will I get the value for the exams? Since most people are focusing on that, and we have much of the international people doing
Okay,
that.
okay. Someone have an answer to that? Do you understand the context? So let's say you're an accountant, and people are not just getting ICANN. They're now getting a foreign accreditation, right? So he's saying, if I go and get it, it will cost me something, so would it make me better? From what we learned, what can somebody answer? From what we learned, can someone answer? I don't want you to answer again, because you answered once now. Yeah.
Praise the Lord. So what that does for you, it opens you to a global opportunity. So instead of your CIPM that limits you to Nigeria, when you have such international certifications, it opens you to the global sphere. And again, in terms of labor cost, right? It puts you in a better position because for those abroad, you will kind of come out as a cheaper labor, but for you in Nigeria, you feel you are earning.
It's not feel, you're converting by 1,000.
So in conversion, right, it will benefit you more if
Yes.
you open yourself to global.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yeah. Sir, your question, sir. And then we'll go to the next exercise was what again? We'll go to that after.
Okay, the fear, I think, is more relating to now, there are more, day-to-day bookkeeping is now almost gone now. There are a lot of IT, there's a lot of accounting app
Yes.
that helps people that you don't need an experience. You
Yes.
don't need to go to school and have a BSc accounting to do that.
Yes.
But I think nowadays we are moving into data analysis. I think I've started taking course in data analysis. So even IT prompting also to see how it could help. I believe that is the solution I'm taking away. But the problem is,
Yes, yeah.
as a chartered accountant, again, you are moving now to interpreting the
Yes.
information,
Okay.
not just recording the data.
You've answered your own question. Yes, and it applies to every profession that is formulaic. Formulaic professions are professions where 1 + 1 = 2, right? Accounting, this is how you prepare it. Law, to a very large extent, this is how it is prepared. This is how it is prepared. So, those who have the basic skills have to now go to enhanced skills. Because the basic skills, the machine will do the basic skills. Prepare the account, do all of that AI can do that. But how do you interpret it? How do you interpret that account? What advice are you giving to the business owner based on the interpretation of the numbers? That is where the value comes in. And also, to use those machines, you need to understand how to prompt them properly. So it means that, and that is why knowledge is very important. And that's why we're going to the next question. In the last 1 year, what have you done by way of training or learning in the last 1 year? And this one I will pick people at random. In the last 1 year, what have you done in training yourself and learning? Yes, the man in green, you're raising up your hand because you've done something.
Praise the Lord.
Yes.
Like I said before, I said I'm a teacher.
Good.
So when I discovered that I was already fading out, I went into tech.
Okay.
To go and learn computer.
Okay.
The graphic design aspect of it.
Yes.
And that improved my service as a teacher.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So that's very good. That's actually very good. Yes.
I think I learned AI relating to AI, all the AI tools.
Yes.
I think on Coursera you pay more, you pay for it.
Yes.
I'm learning that.
Excellent.
And also I'm doing something relating to data analysis also.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. The red, blue. Sorry, I'm coming forward now. Yeah.
Morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
The future is redundancy. If we look at it for a lot of professions, because AI is actually going to replace so many things. It's doing that already. Maybe it's not so prevalent in Nigeria at the moment, but eventually that's going to happen. What have I learned in the past 1 year? I've been fiddling so much with this thing called AI. I've been able to do a whole lot of things.
Good.
I use it to write. I've written some books. I've done some comics. I've done some short video stuff, not just a few seconds. So I had to do something not too long ago, and the person said, "Oh, we need to have a video editor, this and that, blah 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 blah." And I sat down and I asked myself that, do I really need to pay money to do this? I can drop all of the prompts on this particular AI, and I get what I want.
Beautiful.
So I think a lot of us need to start looking at how, I tell my children, I said, my generation, we compete with ourselves for jobs and this and that. But your own future, you'll be competing with machines. So you need to learn how to manipulate that machine. I found out not too long ago that there's something called prompt engineering. I never knew that was a job.
Yeah.
And they are well paid. Maybe some of us should research into that.
Okay.
And I also, in about 5-6 months back, I decided to learn a craft.
What's the craft?
It's resin.
Resin. What's resin?
It's a type of chemical that you can use to create a whole lot of things.
Okay.
So,
so you're learning actively, and it's important that in those two different areas where he's learning, if you follow the value chain, like it was yesterday, I was at a gaming convention yesterday, and you could see these young people who maybe build, starting from a comic, build characters, build story, build a game, and is earning millions of dollars from doing that, selling the game in Russia, selling the game in Japan, not so much in Nigeria, but the basic skill is that creativity, storytelling, and then I can sketch, I can build characters, I can put those characters into a story, And that story can be interesting in a certain market. But to do that is you have to get to another layer of learning. You have to be learning. Anybody who has not done any kind of learning, especially in AI in the last 1 year, is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. So everyone must. And the good thing is that some of those things are free. Right? It's only after you've exhausted the free. Some of us want to stay on the free forever. It's only after you've exhausted the free that the owner of the thing will say, come on now. How far? You've been using this thing for so long, so you have to pay for that. So raising, I understand now. Chemicals and the rest of them is another big. So it's massive. Learning is important. If you have 5 PhDs, you have not finished learning today. You have not finished learning today. You wanted to say something, sir?
Praise the Lord. So within the period of 1 year, I registered myself into project management.
Okay.
Initially, project management used to be like a profession, like it has its own job description, but now it has become a skill which you can acquire. And recently, my company partners with this betting company, and so it's a lot of project activities, so I had to import some of the theoretical practices into the actual knowledge of it, and it's really paying out.
Beautiful.
And also on the idea of AI, so there's a company called Lobby AI. They started a no-code, low-code section currently, and it ended 2 weeks ago, and it's really been helpful. So it's more of like autonomous, some things where, like you said, repetitive task.
Yes.
You don't have to be doing it by yourself. AI, you just have to prompt it,
Yes.
cause and effect, and it does its work by itself.
Excellent. So, okay. At the back, Mama wants to say something. Okay, I'll come back to you. We're just about to round up. Before you speak, ma'am, so let me read some. It says, AI will not remove the need for humans. So please put your mind at rest. When you hear AI would kill all of us, AI will take out. No. AI will not remove the need for humans, but it will punish people who refuse to learn, adapt, and improve their productivity. Is that clear? Yes, it's very clear. So, but AI is not the only skill that you need to learn, but it's just one of those skills. Yes, ma'am.
Praise the Lord. Yes. You asked us that have we developed ourselves for the past 1 year?
Yes.
I'm a civil servant.
Good.
And they always believe in us that we are stagnant in our services.
I reject it in Jesus' name.
When I came in, as a young graduate, I was like, what kind of work did I find myself that I was employed with? But later, I started developing myself. Last 2 years, and I found out that we need to develop ourselves as a civil servant, no matter the profession we are doing. So I decided to go to for about 3 degrees at the same time.
Wow.
So I had to my qualification. But now I can see myself that I have confidence that even the ministry that I'm working with can recommend me that to this station, go and do it.
Beautiful.
Cases have flopped over there. So I want to say, to develop yourself is a great thing.
Excellent. So very impressive, man. Let's put our hands together for her. Very impressive. 3 degrees. What you now need to add is the application knowledge, which is the practical problem solving. I know that in the civil service, say, okay, if you have this degree, you put you on this level. If you add this degree, we put you on this level. If you add this one, we'll put you on this level. So when you get to that level, you will be rewarded for the problems you solve. You will not be, there's a place where qualification takes you to, and then you now need to prove yourself. And proving yourself is about how you can solve your problem, not about how many files pass through the table. It's about how are you solving. And I want to speak specifically to the public service, those who work FRSC, police, civil service. that in this environment, there's a very massive opportunity to have civil servants who are different from every other civil servant. Totally different. So much so that you become a consultant to other places because you've solved problems. Right? So, thank you for that example. Someone was raising, I'll come to you, but let's take the gentleman here. So, while they're coming again, please, Nigeria is not a hopeless country. Nigeria is not a hopeless economy, but it is a tough economy, right? And tough economies reward disciplined, creative, and resilient people. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Everyone is talking about AI today, and one other opportunity we should look at is that when it comes to AI, it runs from a particular place, which is a data center. And there are opportunities there. Okay, for a data center, what that means is that there will be more power consumption as you are running all your AI applications. So power consumption in terms of, if they are running on gen, they'll use more diesel. More maintenance parts for them. So there are several opportunities in that aspect. I just had to just check.
Yeah, so you must understand that right now, forgotten the total power output that we have in Nigeria, but it's perhaps the biggest opportunity in this country. If you can solve the power problem, and you don't have to solve it like Dangote, you don't have to solve it at that level, right? You can solve it at different levels. So we don't have the power that is needed for the basic running and operation of manufacturing and the rest of them. Now, AI demands even more power. Do you understand? Because the computing is happening and it is taking data from the cloud. Data is sitting in data centers. Those data centers need to be powered and cooled 24/7. It must not go down. Right? So we don't have enough power for normal practices. Someone is in the hospital, is in ICU. You cannot afford to have power shutting off. So if you can solve power problems and don't look at it as a big problem, solve it for small groups, solve it for estates, solve it for hospitals, solve it for your family first, and then begin to build that forward. Right? So power is very, very critical. Yes, so there was, yes, after you then, I think towards the end. What was the other exercise that we took? The other exercise, what was it? Who can remind me? Another question that we said we should answer? Huh? Current reality. Fine. So that's where we'll end. Yes, I'll take you so that my friend doesn't say that he's been raising up his hand.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Just to add to what he said concerning the data center innovation. So there is a new innovation, I think an improvement to that space in Nigeria. I think CBN in the last 14 days has given a new circular that data centers for payments and banking for banking transactions should be housed in Nigeria. So there are opportunities. What that means is that these data centers which are offshore will be most likely coming to Nigeria. And like he has said, looking at the value chain in data center, we can see, even if we do not have the capacity to function at that level, we can see how to collaborate and also make ourselves useful or available to
thank you. Yeah. So I'm trying again not to talk too much about those big things like that, and so because we can have innovation in agriculture. I mean, she spoke about civil service and the rest of them, but that is a very important thing, right? A data center is a facility like a warehouse. That all you have in this warehouse is you have servers, which is all those big computers and all of that, everything linked, and then power is supplied, is running, and is providing all the information. So it will need power. It will need power. So, sir, yeah. And then we'll finish with current reality. The current reality, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir,
yeah.
for another opportunity. Yeah, what I want to say is, based on the topic that we had, the theme of this program that we have today, I want to say something that also can also encourage the young ones here. Sometimes, most of us, we feel that if you don't have money, you need an uncle somewhere to help you in one particular career or the other. Sometimes it's not like that. Just like you said, you can start from anywhere. You can start from anywhere with what you have. And also, the attitude that a successful person carries, you need to understand, if you want to be a doctor, you need to learn the positive attitude of a good doctor. What are the negative attitude of a doctor? You need to learn the positive and the negative, because one thing I've learned in my career is that I have a mindset shift in terms of you, Pastor. Sorry that I am saying this now. You actually helped me in 2014. I sat down in your office. There's something you said that helped me to build my business structure. Right from that time, I built my business structure, and I was using that. It's something that everybody should learn today. You need to have, even though you want to be anything in life, you need to have the positive and you need to understand the positive and the negative side of everything, so that you will learn the good habit. If the doctor say, don't do this, do those things that, look at the people that have succeeded already. If you have succeeded, and I'm trying to emulate you, I'm trying to succeed like you, I will learn what are the things you did that makes you to succeed. I have to learn those positive attitude or habits that you did. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So a current, before the men's fellowship, we had a breakfast meeting, and Dr. Bankole spoke to us about nutrition and the rest of them. That knowledge, as Pastor Atoebi said, if you speak to him on a weekday, you get an invoice. So there are people who are wellness experts, right? Wellness experts who are helping you to solve the problem of your diet and the rest of them. And as I keep saying, the more intense your problem is that you are solving, the more money you can make. I'll try and explain. The higher the value and intensity of the problem is, the more money you can make. Right? There are some people for whom it is a matter of life and death what they eat. The amount of money they will pay for a service for 6 months is not, they're not going to be negotiating, please remove 50,000, remove this. No. Right? There's several problems here. And as someone says, it's either if you are providing a painkiller or a vitamin. If you're providing a painkiller, you will make more money. If you're providing a vitamin, you may not make as much money. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what is a painkiller? I know of a facility, one of the biggest quiet problems that we have in this country is a problem of drug abuse. That we don't talk about it enough is massive. Someone was telling me about a facility where they have about 3 different locations of a rehabilitation center, about 150 bed, and a charge per month is 450,000 naira. Right? I pray that none of your children will go there. But for someone to spend 450,000, then that is it a vitamin or a painkiller? It's a painkiller because it's a life and death situation. So someone will pay. Because of some of the interventions we've done in church, and we've tried to get someone to the psychiatric hospital, Arrow and the rest, it's always full. There's no bed. There's no bed. So you find that people are paying for their wards. Because again, for the rich people, because of the foreign exchange devaluation, that the fact that the dollar has gone up, some of them would have sent their children abroad to rehabilitation centers. They are not doing that anymore. They are now putting them in Nigeria, but the facility must be like the same standard. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is a painkiller solution. There are other solutions like that are being provided here that people are paying a lot of money for because it's a big problem. Right? And that is just one part. That's just one area. If you understand the problem that you're solving and you're able to define it very well, and this applies to everyone in this room, no matter what you do. What do you do? Tailor? Maybe you sweep the street. Maybe someone that I know who I've known him in facility management. What they do is take jobs from facilities to clean, like banks and the rest of them over the years. So he tells me now that, I've grown. What do you do now? Yes, I do facility management, but I do, for high-rise building, I get drones that I take up and they clean those high-rise buildings without having the risk of having someone climbing up there. They can fall, there can be an accident, and so on and so forth, right? It doesn't matter whether you are retired or you are close to retirement, right? The advantage of these times and what we've seen is that, in fact, if you are in retirement, you can start another life in retirement. You can start another life because there's some skills that you have which the maturity and the retirement and what you have by way of value is great to someone who is looking for that service. So age is not a barrier. What you do is not a barrier as long as there is value. Teachers, they say teachers' reward is in heaven. It's not in heaven only. The teachers today who are doing very well because they've added several skills to what they do, and they're doing extremely well. One of the challenges that we have in our educational system is that parents have the belief that we need private tutors. Abi? So teachers are not just looking at that private tutorship, but they're aggregating private tutors and providing for different areas and different services. So I don't know what your current reality is. We have to close in a minute or two. So is there anyone here that is lost and you want to be honest that really with everything we've said today, I am lost because I just don't get something? Let's take that, and then we can then, or if you don't know to say you are lost, just say there's something you don't understand. Okay, don't say you are lost. Say you don't think it applies to you. Okay, sorry, the young man here. Okay, all these things you are talking about is above my head. It doesn't apply to me. You're just talking Oyibo. Me, I'm a farmer. I don't understand what you're talking about. Yes, sir.
Good morning, everybody.
Yes.
I am not really, will I say lost? I won't say lost.
Okay.
I'm going back to where you talked about what training have you taken, any course have you taken at all? So I did about 2 or 3 courses last year, no, 2 last year, 1 this year, and I'm still struggling to, implement them. Both are, all the old courses are in my field, but I struggled to implement them. Reason is because it's not something that I do before.
What do you do, if you can give us
Okay,
that?
videography. Let me start with videography.
Okay.
At first, then
Okay.
editing second, then
Okay.
visibility third.
Okay.
So where I'm struggling is the visibility part. Revealing myself to the audience. Okay, this is what I do. This is how you can come in touch with me and all that and all that. So that way I'm struggling the
Okay.
most. Thank you very much, sir.
And I think we spoke about that earlier. We said sometimes the problem is that we're a bit shy to, Abi? Because today is when you don't really need to. How many people in this church know what you do, for example? Apart from we see you on Sunday, do it, but we think you're a volunteer. We don't know that that's what you do. So can you tell us what you do in 2 minutes? Let's have a sales pitch, an elevator pitch. Give us an elevator pitch. Elevator pitch is we've met in the elevator. You have 10 seconds. Okay, let's say 20 seconds to convince all these people about what you do. Counting 1.
Okay, my name is Oluwashola. I'm a realtor. I'm into my area of specialization in realtor is Airbnb. I get accommodation for people. I sort your accommodation. If you want any location, I can help you get that. And just tell me your budget while I work on it. That's all.
Okay, you did this under 20 seconds. Do we see a big problem here? What is the problem? What is the problem?
There's difference between what is pitch and what the problem is.
When you first spoke about yourself, you said videography. When you are pitching the realtor. You mix it together. You had 20 seconds. You met the CEO. You met the CEO in an elevator. You have to convince him in 20 seconds. When you met him first, you said, I'm a videographer. And then you talk about this. He's not going to be confident to work with you. Because he would say, this person is still trying to discover himself. He's not sure what he wants to do. So the problem is be sure what you want to do. Be sure what you want to do. Are you a videographer or you're a realtor? Both. Okay, no problem. God bless you. Any other? No, I'm not talking to you again. No. Him first. He has this. Water. So we'll take him and then her and we'll close. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, go on.
Okay. As a student,
Good.
is this major? I have 2 questions. There is this major one that baffles me. How are you a student, basically 22, 23, and then they are asking you to have like 7 to 8 years of work experience, while also giving you an age limit that you have to be under to qualify for the job? That is the first question. And the second one is you keep saying we should try to occupy a job, but the truth is that when you have job, you don't actually make money. It's when you sell values or you sell your job, you sell your business.
Yes.
That's when you actually make the money. So how does that align?
Okay, so let's take the 2 questions. What's your name?
Oluwatosin.
Olua. Can somebody answer the first question? Spoke about a student. They say you should have 7 years experience. Huh? And your age limit, yes. Okay. You've answered a lot. Who wants to? Okay, yes, Sister Fulusha wants to answer.
Okay, so have you ever considered interning in companies?
Yeah.
So you're not exactly looking for an opportunity to work, but you are in a space where you can learn, and then you build experience. So you are a student, but you can actually start building your CV right from secondary school, primary school, if possible. You know, so what employers look at is how you have been engaged over the years. Okay, what you have done. It doesn't necessarily have to do with your age. We have a lot of young teenagers who are working and earning money because they have clearly stated what they have done in the last couple of years. So internship, there's so many internship opportunities online.
Yeah.
Okay? So are you on the Job Bureau platform? Okay, so we'll just make sure that we put up posts like that more.
You know, so we said that, Brabode, yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. I think what I want to add is that when people are in one job or the other, they must be in a community. And how do I mean community? If you're a plumber, you must belong to plumbers group.
Yes.
So that when the plumbing are having meeting or job or whatever, you are always in the known.
Correct.
So by so doing, among the plumbers, you come across as somebody they can reach out to.
Correct.
For example, some people have been coming to church also, they are not workers, they are not. So when people are asking after them, nobody knows
Nobody
them.
knows. That's
so I think I want to
yeah.
say, because there are some students that are actually developers. And by the time they are finishing their youth corps, they are already earning big money.
Correct.
Because they are in the developing community and they are proving their methods. So you cannot say, I'm doing something when you are not a member of association, you are not in the community. Nobody will take you serious because you don't have any referral.
Thank you very much.
That's what I want to contribute.
I think that's very, very important. No, don't respond. Don't respond. So, as a student, in other places, especially Europe and America, by the time you're going to high school, you're already interning. You're already doing holiday jobs, right? Here now, from secondary school, people are doing holiday jobs. So if you have summer holidays, parents insist you must go and work in this place. You must go and work in this place. So they volunteer, they do it free, even if they don't pay. All of those things add up on your CV. So when you finish school and you finish and they're asking for your experience, all those things count. I worked in this place for 6 months. I worked in this place for this period, and so on and so forth. All of those things count. That's important. Your second, and community is very important. Very important. I'm sure the job bureau people would look at how to.
I just want to add again to your question, because this is quite very important. Skills, that's the future currency. So build skills. Are you listening? Okay, so then you build skills and then you intern based on that. Okay, you get experience through internship. What do you currently do, or what are you good at? Like what? Okay.
I do a lot.
Yeah.
How do you say you do a lot?
So prioritize 1, 2, 3. Give me the first one. Graphics. Okay, coding, web design, and all of it. Okay, so yes, you can apply. Okay.
Yeah.
Be confident, because I can see that you are. Don't worry. Be confident.
Yeah, the guy is vibing.
People are actually looking for, talents like you. There are companies looking for talent like you. So be encouraged.
Yes, my brother.
All right, good morning, sir. So on the question about years of experience, right? So I happen to deal with a lot of talent on a daily basis where we interact for career advisory and clarity. And one of the things that we've discovered is a lot of talent do not have clarity on what exactly they want to do. A whole lot. So many of them move with the trend. Oh, my guys are in tech today. My daddy did this.
Sorry,
yes.
Pause. You are not listening. There's a skill called active listening. Yes, it's a skill. It's not as... So, I can ask you a question, and before you answer my question, I'm speaking. That's not active. You have to learn active listening. Active listening means I ask a question, I then listen. And if that answer does not meet yes, I can ask again. but at least I have listened. Because in not listening, you're going to miss something that he's saying. Please, sir.
Thank you, sir. So,
by the way, he's a big boy, so you better listen to him.
All right, so really it's not in the years of experience. And just as my auntie has said, right, there are a lot of volunteering roles. However, you also need to give yourself that visibility, right? So it's more in, so for example, what's your career? What field are you in?
Graphic art.
Graphics. In fact, you should have more visibility now.
Yes.
How much do you utilize LinkedIn? There are a lot of platforms that a lot of graphic designers use. GT Hub, right? David is a graphic designer. There are places where you can take on projects and you do by yourself and you put out there and then create explanation. So a good example, you could look for a company that probably you've observed their graphics and the graphics they put out there on social media and you feel it could be better. We've seen a lot of talent who got a job because they did a sample of a rebrand of a particular product and then put it on their LinkedIn and then tag the company. So in trying to give yourself visibility, you need to have clarity on what exactly you want. You need to be intentional about what you do and then utilize the platforms that are available. Go on LinkedIn. You have a LinkedIn account. Look for different companies they're pretty good, but something can be done differently on their brand image or the way they communicate to their audience. You're a graphic designer. You have AI. Create some interesting videos that offer solutions to some of the challenges you have observed. Put it on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Tag the company. Tag other companies also. And then leave it out there. Do that once every... you can do it once every month or twice every month. And watch a lot of people come to your DM and ask you, how did you do this? So you need to... When Pastor, I joined online, I was listening. He talked about value. He was emphasizing on value. And as a talent... That is your major oil. You must ensure that you look for solutions, create solutions based on your skills that you have, and then put it out there for people to see. If you don't do that, the workforce is very cloudy, right? There's a lot of talent there. If I put one job application out there, I'll get over 5,000 people apply for it. How do you make yourself stand out from the crowd? It's by singling yourself out of it and be intentional about it, and then get clarity. What exactly do you want? Because everybody's applying for every job. But if you have clarity, then you can single yourself out of it and then get the desired job that you want. Thank you.
Thank you. That's expert advice. Even I can't give that kind of advice. So I think it's very important that you take that to mind. And the community that my brother spoke about is very important. In this church, for example, I know people in different professions who are quiet. Very quiet in what they're doing. But if they know that you're doing this or you're doing that, you can collaborate with them. They can show you some things that you may not know, and the rest of them. How many of us have LinkedIn profiles? How many of us have LinkedIn? LinkedIn, good. Fine, okay. How many of us have posted anything on LinkedIn in the last 2 weeks? 2 weeks? 2 weeks? Yeah, so for most of us, your LinkedIn is dead. You are actually on LinkedIn, as in UN LinkedIn. You are on LinkedIn, which is you are ON LinkedIn, but you are UN LinkedIn, or you are linked out. So you have to update your LinkedIn profile. How do you update your LinkedIn profile? Maybe there's a... Yes. The experts, please take a note, write these things down, write it down. I know what I'm saying.
All right, so just to mention, I think in my 13 years experience, I've gotten 2 of the jobs I have from LinkedIn. Yes. And it comes from positioning yourself very well and also the type of keywords that you use. And also I'll still emphasize on the word clarity. I'm a marketing and communications professional, right? That is what I've been doing. And then on my LinkedIn, if you go to my LinkedIn now, you will see in my description, and that's the way it works on LinkedIn. So there are algorithms. People search. So HR professionals that are around, when they're looking for any roles, there are specific keywords that they look for. And also when it comes to ATS, also in your CV, right? When they run your CV through ATS, there are particular keywords they're looking for that aligns with the role that they want to recruit for. The same thing applies to LinkedIn. So you must ensure that there are some keywords that has to be around your description, right? And also the body of your of your CV, your profile. Also, what are the connections that you have, right? So when a recruiter goes to your CV, to your profile on LinkedIn, they will look at the description. So on my description, you see head of marketing, former senior marketing manager, former head of partnership and communications, all the roles that I know that I want attraction from in terms of recruitment, right? I put those keywords there in my description. So when any recruiter anywhere is searching to say, oh, I need an head of marketing and partnership. So even though my profile doesn't come out for marketing, it will come out for partnership. Do you understand? You see the thinking there, right? So, and also in the description of your profile, you must have those keywords. Now that's one. And also on your description of your profile, what some recruiters want to see basically is the values that you have added. So for example, there's a project I handled. I would say I was responsible for implementing XYZ in the description of my profile at the particular job that I did. You also do the same thing and also state the accomplishments. If you generated 40 million revenue in 3 months, put it there. Those are some of the keywords, because the thinking is, if you can do this for your existing organization, you can do it for me. So whatever it is that you took to achieve that revenue or that completing that task, I believe you can do the same for me. And then when people see that, decisions are made faster. Because recruiters, they know that as far as Nigeria is concerned, it takes a lot of work to recruit. And then when they get someone they know that have the experience, it's easier. They just send you a message and say, oh, are you open to this role? And that also scales you through all the numerous shortlisting, ATS, and what have you. In fact, using LinkedIn is actually very good, right? It helps you, get closer to opportunities better than applying via emails and the like. So it's more than what I'm just saying. So probably we might need to create a time to look at some of the key things that needs to be done in order to optimize your LinkedIn properly to get opportunities from recruiters. But yeah, these are some other things that we can use.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So to close, I would like to advise us, whether you are in public service or in private, your visibility is important. Your visibility is important. A lot of us are too high. And I see a lot of content, thought leadership content from different people who is a was tearing all the furniture in the house. So the guy would tell you, as if you are doing PhD in dog training. He would tell you, this is the problem with this dog. This is how you have allowed this dog to do this. This is what you have done with this dog. This is what you have done. This is just watch. This is what I'm going to do. This. And then they show the same dog, and the dog is not tearing furniture anymore. Yeah? So they nickname him the dog whisperer, somebody who whispers to dogs. I can tell that his business would have a value chain in that industry. So that shows you how something that leads to that industry. You have a thought leader, and the thought leader comes into the media to demonstrate that I know what I'm doing. So it's that demonstration that we need to do. And as we do that with visibility, the closing word for me is, to thrive in changing times, we must shift from fear to learning, from isolation to collaboration, from complaint to creativity, and from survivor thinking to value creation. from survivor thinking to value creation. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Let's stretch forth our hands to Pastor and pray that the Lord will continue to fill him as he has impacted us, that the Holy Spirit will continue to impact him and cause him to grow beyond his own expectations. Pray. Now pray for yourself and tell God to help you, not just be hearers, but also doers of his word. That everything we've learned here, that the Lord will give us the grace to apply. In Jesus' name we've prayed. In Jesus' name we've prayed. How many of us enjoyed this season, this moment that we had together? Awesome. So we'll be having more of things like this, even practical sections brought to us. But what I would just want us to do, and I believe that is very important, is that you look at your neighbor and introduce yourself in just 2 minutes. Look at your neighbor and introduce yourself in just 2 minutes, because it might be that neighbor that will give you your next contract. Some people are not saying anything. Visibility. Don't be shy. You can move around though. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. So beyond everything that was said, just like we have learnt, value, and I also heard that there is the technicalities of things and there's the creativity part. So whatever it is that you find yourself doing, whether it is digital or it is not, ensure that you are very creative. Praise the Lord. Shall we rise to our feet as we share the grace in fellowship? We are going to share the grace together now. Amen. The grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit abide with us now and forevermore. Amen. Surely, God's goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in the house of the Lord. Amen. Praise the Lord. If you want to join the Job Bureau platform, you can reach out to myself or Sister Modupe at the back. Praise the Lord.
Solid Mistral, please let's come for rehearsal. Let's come for rehearsal.